A Black woman who moved from the U.S. to Russia to escape discrimination and racism revealed on social media that the entire plan backfired on her in a disturbing way. Francine Villa was born in Russia but moved to the U.S. with her family when she was a kid. In a heartbreaking video, Francine claims that both she and her baby were brutally attacked by racist neighbors in Moscow. She detailed the alleged assault on Instagram. Now, the fact that the attack occurred in her homeland is an extra painful blow. Villa had previously spoken about her move in the 2020 documentary Back in the USSR, which aired on the Russian state media channel RT. Villa said that her great-grandfather George Tynes, who hails from Virginia, worked as an agriculturalist after moving to the Soviet Union in the 1930s. Now, much of her family still lives there, but at a young age, she moved with her mother to the United States. It was there that she spent most of her life until experiencing what she described as a traumatizing experience with police. Villa explained in the documentary that she'd approached officers for help during an emergency, but that they turned on her instead, throwing her to the ground. It was then that she decided it was time to leave. That was back in 2019. Here is how she explained it. Quote, "Why did I make up my mind to move to Russia? I wanted to leave a country where I was facing discrimination. After a year living in Moscow, she told RT, quote, I feel free living in Russia because in Russia, no matter what time it is, I can walk outside and I'm safe." 5 years later, that proved to be a fantasy. Following the alleged attack, Villa took to Instagram with blood still on her face, saying a couple in her apartment building beat her with fists while she was with her 2-year-old and yelled racial slurs at her in Russian. In edited footage shared by Villa of the incident, the couple can be seen arguing with her in the hallway of her building, threatening to throw out her belongings while she was seemingly blocked from entering her own apartment.
Вы в России давно живете?
А у вас прописка есть здесь?
Да, мне войти на квартиру.
Прописка есть?
Да,
Почему вы ко мне на «ты»?
я не могу выйти и входить в свою квартиру. Напугает моего ребенка.
Кого? Он пуганный, плачет, бедняжка. Да, зайка, ты плачешь, да? Плачешь, зайка?
Now, she accuses her neighbors of changing the locks, cutting off the electricity, and even tossing her baby's stroller down the stairs. She also claims her child was left with bruises following the incident. In footage taken from a hospital, Villa can be seen weeping in distress in the aftermath of this alleged attack. She says she's filed complaints to the police but claims they aren't helping or responding.
Look, man, I don't know what happened. I don't know the whole story. I heard her side. I don't know what the other side is, but I can just tell you straight up, the least racist country you can probably go to that isn't predominantly black is the United States. I know people may think that it's racist, but anybody who's traveled the world, if you've been to Europe, even Africa, any place I've been, I notice more racism overseas than I've ever noticed in the States. Cause y'all gotta understand, in America, we have moved beyond racism to some degree. Like we've taken action towards racism. Like for instance, we have affirmative action, Title IX, we have accountability. If a white person calls you the nigger or some shit like that, they'll lose their job. Shit, they'll get, banned into fucking exile. They get canceled. They'll lose everything just for doing some racist stuff, being caught on camera doing something racist. The rest of the world doesn't have those safety nets. They don't have to hire you. If you're black, that's legal. They can say, oh, we don't want to hire a black person. And that's perfectly normal in their culture. We think it's a problem because we're so used to sticking it to them like, yeah, you can't discriminate against me because I'm black. We're so used to having that right. But you go to other countries, they don't have that. You black, we don't want you in our restaurant. We don't want to hire you. You're going to live in the slums for the rest of your life because no one here is going to hire you. Now, maybe you want to come and clean up or something, we'll hire you for that, but we're not going to give you no corporate job. We're not going to put you on the phones talking to people and put you in a desk to deal with people. We don't want, in America, they force, black people, they force black people on white people. Like, if a white person has a business or a corporation, you got to throw some black people in there or you'll get sued for discrimination, right? Even if you got a shitty attitude, they'll eventually fire you. But them buquishas you ever had to call somewhere or had to deal with somebody in their shitty ass customer service, dealing with them black folks. Now, not all black people are like that. I'm just saying that we have it to where you have to hire black people. Just you got to find something for them. But the rest of the world, they don't have that. They'll tell you, shit, this happened to me in plenty of countries. I would walk in a restaurant full of people and they'll tell me they're closed. Now, do I get mad? Do I throw a fit? No, it's like, fuck it. You don't want my money? Then I'll take my money somewhere else. That's fine. I'd rather that's fine. I don't want to spend my money somewhere where I'm not wanted, and that's fine. And I don't expect my American beliefs, my American rules and regulations to be something that can be pushed on the rest of the world. I know that I'm privileged being an American. You live in the United States, you're privileged. The rest of the world, they don't have all that shit. They don't have to cater to LGBT. They don't allow women and men and women's sports, and they're real traditional. They're like, nah, you gonna stay your ass in the kitchen. Women gonna stay in the kitchen. Which I'm not saying I agree with that. I'm just saying they real old school. Like, nah, women they still like women stay in the kitchen. LGBT, you go to jail. That's what they do. In the States, shit, they let two gay men, they can adopt children, little boys. Shit, the rest of the world, shit, a lot of places, man, they'll lock you up for being gay. So I don't know what happened to this black lady. I feel sorry for her, but you gotta understand, the United States is the safest place you can be. Now, the thing that makes America so great is, if you had a bad issue with an officer, you could have reported him. Now, I don't know if you did. I don't know if you got anywhere with it, but man, I've seen people get kicked by the police, resisting arrest, and then got kicked by the police officer and got like $400,000. I'm just saying, like, there's accountability in the United States. The rest of the world doesn't have those safety precautions for racism. They can be as racist as they want to be. Your only option is to get the fuck out their face or leave the country. The United States, we got accountability. Somebody going to jail, somebody gonna lose their job, someone's something like that's gonna happen. I don't know this lady's full story, but I know I've also heard, women say, oh, protect black women. Man, the person that's supposed to protect you the most is your husband. That's the worst thing. One of the worst things you can do is be out here single as a mother. That's why on Facebook, whatever, I don't like nobody's shit. If I see a mother posting a paternity picture and no dad, you wasn't even dating, you wasn't married, nothing like that. I'm not liking that shit, because you setting yourself up for failure. You're setting the child up for failure. I know you took the most emotional approach, which women do, is to have a baby. Now, I'm not saying abort, but I'm saying don't have babies. Don't get pregnant by people you're just sleeping with. Oh, it's an accident. No, it's not an accident. You know what happened. You didn't use a condom, and you didn't take a plan B, and you wasn't on birth control. You had those two options. You can be as freaky and nasty as you want to be, but at the end of the day, did you take birth control? Did you take a plan B? You can do either one. Okay, cool. You got pregnant on purpose then. So that leads me to say, if you're going to be pregnant, you understand, no one owes you protection. You got to fend for yourself out here in the world. I don't know this lady's situation. I don't know if she was married, got divorced. I don't know. But I would just say that, a lot of women put themselves in these situations when they go get pregnant with no husband. I'm not victim blaming or nothing like that. But let this be a lesson. Women, don't be out here pregnant and single. Don't be out here like newborn and single. That you should not do. Because I guarantee you, if you had a husband, them neighbors wouldn't have been talking. They wouldn't have been talking so reckless. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I've experienced some racism, but I haven't really, I've heard women tell me horror stories about racism. Yeah, because they feel emboldened to talk to you crazy because you a female. But as a man, I've never had nobody disrespect me in racism. I've had people say, basically, we don't want no niggas in this restaurant. They'll tell me they're closed, and I just, all right, cool. But I ain't never had nobody disrespect me, try to put hands on me or try to cuss me out, or nothing like that ever happened. Now, I've dealt with some assholes, but I would say the people that are the biggest assholes look like me. So I digress.